Yo, what is up, guys? Wuthering with gamers. We have something big to talk about here. So if you don't know, we've recently had a pretty big survey giving us a lot of stuff that could be changing the game in terms of character weapon types, character model designs. You know, it had like the female body types and all that. But this Reddit user here actually had a problem with that, talking about how the weapon types could be bait in terms of more monetization and more predatory practices in Wuthering Waves, and we're going to be talking about that today. So I want to, start a discussion here on, pretty much what we should be thinking about this and my thoughts on it as well. So pretty much this person is saying, do not fall for the bait, say no to the new weapon types, because a wide variety of weapon types on this. Before even getting into this post, I can definitely see what they're trying to get at. If you don't know, Wuthering Waves 4-star weapons, they're pretty trash, I'm gonna be honest. You're using a 4-star weapon on a character, you're not clearing a lot in the game, in terms of like, you can clear stuff in the game, but let's go like Tower example. Tower is the rotating DPS check of the game. You're not clearing Tower with 4-star weapons unless it's on your support. Like your San who is using the Concerto regen weapon. That's about it. Anyways, this guy says, there's a new survey going around asking if we want new weapon types. Say no. We currently have 5 weapon types, but nearly every new character we've had since launch barely uses their weapons, and the devs gave them specialized weapons in their animations. If they introduce new weapon types, it'll only limit all of us, our ability to share weapons between characters will be hampered by the amount of characters that can use them. The developers have never been shy to using a unique weapon for each character since release. Refer to image 3, there's some images down here. Take Gracia, for example. She is a gauntless user, but her entire kit is all about Poco. Jeji is a rectifier, but she uses a brush. Gian is a broadsword, but he uses a spear. Camellia, a sword user, but mostly uses her vines. There's nothing stopping developers from being creative with animations. If they want an axe user, there's nothing stopping them from doing it, even if their weapon type is a sword. That's pretty true. If we get more weapon types, our options will become more limited, not the developers. Instead, say no to new weapon types and answer you want specialized weapons to dominate the animations instead. Now, of this post, I think they might be thinking of it in the wrong way, but there's no way to know, so I think they actually have merit in this post. So I think they might be asking for new weapon types in terms of actually what they recommended in this post, in terms of characters having a sword, but they use an axe. Maybe they use we've seen Brant, he has like a rapier, that falls under sword, but rapier could be its own type of sword weapon. But I don't think they're going to make a rapier class separate from sword class. That would be extremely niche. They'd have to make more rapier characters to go into the rapier section, but that's just me. Axe, same thing. You have a claymore versus a big axe, or just like a 2-sided axe that could also be in Broadblade as well. I think that they were going for that in this survey from what I've seen. But if they're not, I definitely agree with this in terms of they should not be adding new weapon types unless it's going to be a big change to the game. Kuro did say we are going to be getting massive updates every 6 months to the game, which is pretty big, right? So that means 2.0 is going to end 6 months from now. So we should be seeing a 3.0 update in July or June, which is insane. I feel like that's crazy. Now, the correct way to add a new weapon type would be to add the new weapon type. It's going to come out with a new character, obviously. So they would have their signature weapon. There should be a free 5-star standard weapon that immediately comes out with it. And I think there should be 3 good 4-star variants of that weapon that you can use for the character. Or 1, I guess. If it's 1 character that has it at that time, I guess 1 4-star weapon. See, the problem with 4-star weapons in WoW, which is what I introed this video with, 4-star weapons in Wuthering Waves suck. I think this is a very popular opinion. This isn't like a hot take or anything. Most people know the 4-star weapons are garbage. And the reason the 4-star weapons are so garbage is because I think WoW knows that they give you the 5-star standard weapon at least very easy access. The only thing is not everyone has all of the 5-star equivalent of a weapon standard banner. So for example, you have the Emerald Genesis, right? But there's like 4 people that use that. And there's some sword characters that play together. But let's go farther. I have the Emerald of Genesis, so that means I'm missing out on other standard 5-star weapons. I recently got the Abyss Surges for Zhong Liao, and I will tell you the DPS change between this and the Hollow Mirage is night and day. You doing like 60k ultimates on Hollow Mirage, you're doing 100k ultimates on Abyss Surges. I'm not even trolling. Then, let's say I want to play a Broadblade, for example, Gion. I have this Cope Waning Redshift. The weapon passive and main stat isn't even bad, but this weapon is just so far off still from the 5-star variant that it's just a gap that you can't really close. Another thing is, I think all 5-star weapons should give you crit value. I'm not gonna lie, I feel like crit value is a pretty big thing in this game, and the fact that it's split or some weapons have crit value and then the others don't, like the Broadblade and the Gauntlets, right? They don't have crits. But then the sword, the pistols, and the sword, pistols, and what am I missing? Rectifier. Does the Rectifier have crit? I think the Rectifier is crit, if I remember correctly. Let me check. Could be wrong on this. The Rectifier is either missing crit or has crit. And the thing with these is they actually flip-flop from the Battle Pass. So if the standard weapon has crits, then it doesn't have it for the Battle Pass 4-star variant. But if the standard weapon does have crit, then the Battle Pass 4-star variant doesn't have crit and is usually attack main stat, which is interesting on how they did that. I'm not gonna lie. These are the weapons here. Yeah, so Cosmic Ripples. This is attack as well. Yeah, so there's 3 attack % weapon, and there's 2 that are crit, which is only the pistol and the sword. So I feel like that's kind of weird that they're not just all crit rates. I feel like they should just all be crit rate, in my opinion. I'm not gonna lie. Yeah, this is just them showing the pictures of the survey here. Yep. Honestly, I'm thinking about it now. I agree with this if Kuro in the survey is not talking about what I was talking about. But if Kuro is, because that's what I'm thinking. I'm thinking Kuro is thinking more of specialized weapons, right? Because that's why they asked the question. I feel like they wouldn't have asked the specialized weapons question if that's not what they meant. But they also asked it on top of, do you want to see new base weapon types added to the game on top of what they have? And I think a new weapon type is cool, but it depends. Like, we don't really have a scythe character besides the main character, but they use a sword. But the scythe fits well, right? Because they just change forms, and there's still a sword character. I feel like, I don't know, it's very iffy on it. Let me know what you guys think on this, to be honest. There's a lot to discuss on this, to be honest. There's a lot to discuss. There's 100% a lot to discuss on this. But like I said, I think they can add new weapon types if they do it correctly. I think this person thinks that they will add it wrong. Also, if we check the comments here, I was previewing some of the comments. Yep, 4-star weapons are really bad. Oh, also another thing with 4-star weapons that also makes them really bad. There's no 4-star weapons that have crit except the newest one we just got from the last Somnor event. But that crit only comes from a passive, which you can't even quick swap off of, which is stupid. But someone was talking about PGR, and apparently PGR has a lot of weapon types, and like they've never built on them, so they think that's going to go onto Wuwa as well. And where did I see that comment at? Oh, right here. Yeah, ASEC or Ace says 4-star weapons in Wuwa. Imagine you're getting your character stuck in a shitty 4-star weapon just because you lost a 50-50 on character banner. You can't roll for a specific weapon. Kinda true. 50-50 system comes from Hoyo. This is on PGR. I'm a long-time PGR player, and I'll tell you, purple weps there are cope and will always be cope. Yeah, I don't play PGR. You know, you guys can let me know the validity of this. You know, if this guy's credible or not. This guy says that the 4-star is a shift BHT. I don't know what BHT means. Maybe they mistyped something. The 5-star is good enough. The 6-star is signature. They have 6-star weapons in PGR. I didn't even know that. So there's a 4-star weapon. Then the 5-star weapon, I guess, is standard banner weapons. And then when a character has a signature weapon, it becomes a 6-star. Now that's crazy. Yeah, 4-star weapons though, and are bad. I think that's the biggest thing creating this post is that weapons in Wuwa, like I was talking about, it's just, if you're not using these weapons at a baseline, like, I don't even think these weapons are that crazy. It's just that there's no other things you can use. For example, you have the 4-star craftable weapons that you can get from Jinzo, from that old guy. Those are all terrible. They're literally all terrible. One of them is good for Don Jin, but it's still worse than using Emerald of Genesis. It is the sword number 18. I think they're all sword or gauntlet number or whatever. They're just all kind of garbage. For example, this sword here, right? This is good for Don Jin. This is the best you're going to get out of the craftable weapons. The new craftable weapons we just got are okay, the green weapons, but they're a step in the right direction, but they're still kind of garbage. Another thing. Yeah, I think that's all I want to talk about today, though. Let me know, what do you guys think about this bait on the new weapon types in the new survey? And that is all. Gib is out.